Breeze Nation, what is going on? This is your boy Jordan JC back again on a beautiful Tuesday. I told you I would be back early and often with a lot of these draft player breakdowns. And today we got another good one. I'm going the linebacker route. This is going to be a prospect who I think, with all of the talks around Tremaine Edmunds possibly being cut, or even rumors of him even being traded in a deal, possibly the Las Vegas Raiders or other teams that are interested, we'll need a linebacker. We'll need a new Mike linebacker. You see that Edwards is down with injury. We don't know if we're going to bring back DeMarco Jackson. He put his name on the map this year, but there's going to be a need at that position. And so I think that this prospect coming out of college could be the next great Bears linebacker. That's not an understatement. I think with the potential and the skills that this linebacker has in particular, I think if he comes to the Bears, we'll be talking about a special one for years to come. And who am I talking about? Well, none other than the prospect linebacker, Jacob Rodriguez out of Texas Tech. He is standing at 6'1", 231 pounds. He was the 2025 Dick Butkus Award winner. A little bit of an older prospect at 23 years old. He's had, obviously, he spent all of his time, started at Virginia, played a number of positions, quarterback. He was used all over the place. But then, of course, he found his footing at Texas Tech and was just a monster when it comes to the total tackles, when it comes to just doing a little bit of everything. Interceptions, pass deflections, forced fumbles, sacks. Like, this dude did everything at the linebacker position, at the Mike linebacker. And so his 2025 stats in particular, he had 128 total tackles, 63 solo, 11 tackles for loss, 7 forced fumbles, 4 interceptions, and 6 pass deflections. So it's not lost on me that this dude, he put up some really, really good numbers. And then, of course, at the combine, the results were very, very good. He flashed and he crushed it as well. A 4.57 40-yard dash. And so the speed is there at that linebacker position. That's a very, very good speed, a great speed for a linebacker that is. And so you think about the sideline ability as well. He had a 1.60 10-yard split, a 38.5-inch vertical for a 6'1" linebacker. Very, very good numbers. 10 foot 1 inch broad jump for a overall relative athletic score, RAS score of 9.52. So just elite numbers across the board. This is one of the prospects that I looked at when the combine started to see if he was going to solidify himself. I feel like Jacob Rodriguez, outside of the other linebackers, of course, you know, the main one that blew everybody away and already was at the top of a lot of boards was Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles is in a class of his own. We know that Sonny Styles is probably going to be long gone before the Bears even think about trying to go for linebacker. And I don't think that this is going to be a first-round selection. I think that Jacob Rodriguez, if he falls to the second round, I think that the Bears could possibly get him in the second round. I see him as having a draft projection value in the second round. I don't think any lesser than that. I don't think he's going to be in the first round because, again, there are just a couple of other linebackers ahead of him. You have the hybrid linebacker in Arvell Reese. Obviously, I mentioned Sonny Styles. And so there's going to be a few guys that go ahead of him. But this dude is a beast in his own right. Like I said, the Dick Butkus Award winner, like, he is a monster. And so let's go over some of his strengths and some of his concerns, things, weaknesses, hopefully things that he can continue to progress in and get better at. But overall strengths, lateral movement and speed. We just talked about it. His 40-yard time was very, very good. That was one of the concerns that a lot of people had because of his size. But if you're talking about someone who can chase down any run play and most short yardage pass plays, he's a guy that can do it. And it was on tape and on display a lot of times. A very high IQ player that can diagnose run concepts quickly and shoots gaps with conviction. Again, this is a person who doesn't have to overthink. He sees a run scheme and he attacks it. He knows what he's looking at and he attacks it. There is no guessing. There's no second, split second decision. No, he is very certain of what he does in his pursuit angle. Very violent hands allows him to shed blockers. That is also very good. He plays with a very violent sort of mentality already. He's an old school type of throwback player when it comes to that. And that's one of his strengths too. It's old school mentality when it comes to contact. Consistently runs angry. You don't have those type of guys anymore. Of course, we know that the game has kind of changed with some of the penalties and the flags that are kind of taken away that aggression in a sense, the head hunting and things of that nature. Rightfully so. You don't want anybody to get, terminally injured or have a long-term injury, but obviously this is still football, and so to have that mentality is still very good, where he is a thumper, he is an old school, he's looking for the contact, he runs angry, he is looking to really put his stamp on the running back, the quarterback, the wide receiver, whoever he's going and seeking out. He's a heat-seeking missile. He also has a quarterback background, as I mentioned, in his first year as a freshman in Virginia. That was something that he actually had in his background, and so because of that, here's a player who has elite pre-snap recognition. He can call out formations, and he also puts his teammates in a position to succeed and to diagnose the play as well, and to stop the play. That right there made me think of linebackers like Luke Kuechly, who could just look at a play and right before the snap happened. I mean, you already know exactly which way it's going. You know, if they're handed off to the running back, if it's a play action, if it's a pass, who they might be going to, and so he can diagnose that at the Mike linebacker and can continuously get his players or get his teammates and put them in a position to stop the play, or put himself in a position to stop the play. And so that's very special. I feel like that's something that's understated, that like when you're talking about a football player who's just a lover of the game, that right there, I think, can put him above others, even above others like Arvell Reese and the Sonny Styles, when you're talking about just the IQ and knowing that from a different position you see the game differently. It's just something about those type of players that you can see the game differently because you've been experienced in other positions that call to see the game differently, that call for you to kind of diagnose and break down the different formations and what you see on the field pre-snap. And so I think that will go understated for him as a pro at the next level. Last thing too is that his leadership skills. He sets the tone as a 2-year captain at Texas Tech. This is someone who can rally his troops, who can get everybody on the same page, who can motivate you and get you hyped. He plays with a lot of energy. He plays with a lot of passion and love for the game. And again, that too, it goes understated. Sometimes you have players who are just very, very good at playing football because of their athletic abilities. Then you have those who are not that athletic, who can just play because of their IQ and the pursuit angle and just getting the most out of themselves. But you love a player who, again, just has a passion for what they do, just has that natural love for being a football player. I told you, this is an old school guy, and as you can see with the numbers that he put up, he can do just about anything that he sets his mind to. Now, the concerns and the weaknesses. The biggest concern and weakness is something you can't really change. His size, 6'1". Like, you can't change that. Also, his weight, only 235 pounds for a linebacker, Mike linebacker. You usually see those guys come a little bit bigger. I mean, you look at Tremaine Edmunds, obviously his size is something that we compare to. And so if you were to get him on the Bears, obviously you're replacing, if Edmunds get cut or traded, someone who was a little bit bigger in size and length and things of that nature. But he makes up for it with his speed. Again, that's why that 40-yard time was so important to a lot of scouts. I'm sure that they wanted to see him be able to have that sideline-to-sideline ability and that pursuit angle and just the hair on fire type of play to kind of maybe just douse the flames on the issues with his size. Now, another issue is that he has small arms. I believe it's under 31 inches. I believe he's 30 and 7/8 when it comes to his arms. And so that's a concern as well. That also leads to another concern, his tackling technique, because he is a thumper and the type of player that likes to make that really highlight hit. A lot of times he doesn't really wrap up, and that's the technique that is a concern. And the reason why I say I'm not really concerned about that is because, again, somebody who has a love for the game will continue to improve on those type of abilities and those type of skills. When you look at him pairing up with a Dennis Allen and the linebackers coach, I feel like that's something over time that they can continue to develop and mentor him on is, hey, I know we're not trying to take this aggression out of you. We're not trying to take the angry part of you and the violent part of you out of, but we also want to add a little bit of finesse to it. We want to add a little bit of technique to it by making sure that if you do pursue, use your hands a little bit more, wrap up. Don't just go for the shoulders. Don't helmet, obviously head hunt, which is being taken out of the game anyway. So you want to make sure that you're just improving on your tackling technique. And I think for Jacob Rodriguez, that is something that over time you'll continue to see him improve on off season after off season. So again, that's something I'm not really concerned about. Occasionally, he can freelance a play. That can lead to him sometimes overrunning plays, as I mentioned, because of his aggressiveness, because of his ability to run kind of downhill and just kind of just see a play and just shoot after it. That's something that, again, can be teachable. All of these are teachable weaknesses or teachable concerns. Again, that's why I love a prospect like this, because outside of the size, the height, obviously, you can't really do anything about that. You can put some meat on the bone and give him a couple of steaks. He comes my way if he's on the Bears. I'll take him to Chicago cut, and he can add about maybe 20 or 30 pounds of muscle. Maybe that's too much muscle. 15 pounds of muscle. I was going to say he's walking around like Lou Ferrigno in that case. But the comparison that I have for this player, if he is at his all-time ceiling, because I feel like this is a high ceiling, medium floor type of player, I don't think this is someone that will come in and hurt you at all because of just his production, his ability to affect the game in so many different ways with the pass deflections and the coverage ability and things of that nature. I'm going to old school player Zach Thomas. Yes, I said it. Zach Thomas. You all remember the other number 54 outside of Chicago that played for the Miami Dolphins. He was undersized, but dude, he brought the pain. He was very, very good as a small middle linebacker. He got the job done. This is who I think Jacob Rodriguez can be if he gets to his best ability. Trying to think of someone maybe more modern, possibly that he could be a shorter side on the short side. Maybe, I don't know how, I'm forgetting how tall Roquan Smith is, but maybe even a Roquan Smith, because I know Roquan sometimes he's a very hard hitter. He's cerebral as well. You remember when he was on the Bears, obviously on the Ravens now, and so that could be a maybe more recent comparison. I think if he reaches his ceiling, but overall, just a really, really good prospect, someone who I think the Bears can get in the second round if he's there. I feel like he will be in that 40-ish to 50-ish range, and so I feel like the Bears can pluck him if he's there, because that will be a need. That will be a need. The linebacker position, which was a strength coming into last year, is now more of a question mark. Again, with all the issues and the around Edwards coming back from injury, with whether or not we're going to be keeping DeMarco Jackson or whether or not we're going to be cutting or trading Tremaine Edmunds, there will be a need for us to fill that linebacker position. We know Ruben Hippolyte, outside of all the other draft picks, Ryan Poles pick, he really didn't hit. I don't know if that's someone who maybe find his footing next year. He might be relied upon a little bit more, but there's going to be a need for a new middle linebacker, in my opinion, and I think Jacob Rodriguez is the guy that will be the next great Bears linebacker if he comes to Chicago. Let me know what you guys think about that. Do you think that he will be the next great linebacker for Chicago if he gets picked here? Do you like Jacob Rodriguez? What other linebackers do you like? I appreciate all of the comments. Again, there's been some really, really good dialogue in the comment section. There's a couple of guys who I want to shout out. I can't remember exactly their names. It was a little bit of a weird name, but there's someone who's been breaking down just to the T some of the prospects, and I appreciate that dialogue in the comment section. I love the research that you all are doing. Keep that up. Keep bringing what your opinions are on the players that I am bringing to you guys and talking about the Bears possibly drafting. Let me know who you all want to probably get me to talk about next. I'm also going to be bringing up some draft gems, maybe some steals, some later round prospects like in the Cal Monungai range, maybe some 7th round guys and some overlooked guys who may not necessarily be at the top of the draft, but you're talking about some sleepers. I think that's the route I'll go next. But again, as always, I'll be down there with you all in the comment section. And until the next draft player breakdown, I will see you all later. I'm Jordan JC. Peace out.